Hello everyone, it's Shanna. So glad you're here today. Now today we're going to be working with the Gina K Breath of Sunshine stamp set. And I'm going to be using the sunflower layering stamps for this video. And I'm going to tell you, this isn't the first time I stamped them. I was stamping them earlier and had trouble with them. So I'm trying it again. And I'm going to just do my first layer, and I'm going to do a couple of them. I've got my mustard seed distress oxide that I'm going to stamp down that first layer, and I will stamp it twice to get a good clean stamping. And then I'm going to rotate my page and I'm going to stamp it again. And then we'll bring in the second and the third layers of the stamping. Now I did watch Gina K's video in which she created some templates for stamping these, and she actually had trouble even with the templates with the part that I had trouble with, so I decided to just forego the template creation that she made and to just go ahead and try and stamp these. Now the second stamping of this first layer, I'm using dried marigold because I want a little bit of dimension in that first layer, and so that's what I'm doing there. And then for the next layer, I'll bring in that stamp, which is a smaller one. I'm getting it centered up here on my initial stamping, and I'm going to use Crackling Campfire for that layer, and that'll just really pop on top of this mustard seed and marigold. And these two layers stamp fairly easy. I mean, you can line these up really easy and make them look really well. It's that third layering stamp that I found gave me trouble, and I tried 3 times on the previous stamping, and then I'm trying 2 on here to get that third layer lined up, and it's hard. I mean, even with your head right over the top of it to get it perfectly centered, it's a bit of a challenge. I got a couple of my sunflowers stamped out reasonably well. But then the other 3, you could kind of see a gap on one side or the other. And I mean, I really took a minute to try and get them lined up, but it is kind of a challenge. So I'm just being completely honest in regard to that center one. Now I'm just bringing in, I didn't show you the stamping of these things because I did it in another video, and I can link that up and show you. When I did it in the other video, I stamped my pumpkin and stems wrong, but I'm going to get it right this time. So I stamped my pumpkin, I die cut it out, and then I brought my stem stamp back in, lined it up, and then stamped it down. And that is the proper way to stamp these. In my last video, I actually didn't look at the dies before I stamped them, and I stamped the pumpkins and the stems separately. I was still able to use it because I just die cut them out separately and then added them back together. So now I haven't used this cobblestone stencil that was included in this Breath of Sunshine kit, and so I thought I would give it a try. And I'm just using my vintage photo and my little sponge dauber, and I'm just going to stencil across this, and I'm going to do heavier in some areas and lighter in other areas, just to have a little bit of variation of color. And I did speed this video up, I don't know, 4 times, I think, just so it wouldn't be real lengthy. But I'm just stamping, and you can see I'm trying to go lighter in some areas and heavier in other areas, just to kind of have a little bit of variation of color. And this stencil works very well. It's real easy to work with, and the results are really nice. I like it. It's kind of fun. I don't do a lot of stenciling, so I'm pleased for that. Now you can see I've got 5 of those sunflowers laid out there. And I think I just decided to pick the best of the 3. And you can see I decided I didn't like that. I generally don't like the white around the die cuts, and I'll color them in. But I thought, since I'm using, craft paper there with my cobblestone, that I would give it a vintage look by using the vintage photo around the edges of the sunflowers, and just kind of distress it a little bit. And I distress all my other elements, but you see I'm laying down my basket here, and I didn't distress it. I'll realize that later, and then I'll try to rub some of my distressed ink on there just so everything will kind of match. So I'm just getting my card base ready because I haven't laid that on my card base. I've just got my panels there, and I'm kind of doing it out of order. Usually I'll do my card base and then work from my card base up, but I just got a little out of order. I've had a little bit of a cold, and I've been taking cold medicine, and I've observed that when you've got a cold and you've taken cold medicine, you don't always think clearly on your videos. So that's been kind of interesting. I've had trouble actually doing my voiceovers or even videoing while I was, or talking while I was videoing. Can't seem to talk now, just because I was so raspy, and I just had a deep raspy voice and was having trouble coughing. So I was feeling a little bit better this morning, so I thought I'd do the voiceover for this. I was thankful that I had made my videos ahead of time so that I had, you know, some already scheduled and ready to go, so I didn't have a gap, because I've had about, I'm thinking about 3 or 4 days that I didn't do any crafting, just because, quite honestly, with the cold, and I was just kind of worn out and not really feeling up to it, but I'm starting to feel better, thank heavens. And I've got today and tomorrow to craft, so I'm going to really get busy and have some fun crafting. So I've got this basket. My last video that I used it in, I just filled it full of baskets for kind of Halloween or fall, and you can do a lot of cute things with this set. And I should have maybe tried some of the other centers for that sunflower, because I think maybe the polka dot ones, it wouldn't be so challenging to line it up, but I decided to do this cross hatch pattern on there, and that's where I kind of struggled with. So I think the next time I try it, I'll try the polka dot centers and see if you don't notice if you get it off a little bit within your circle. So I put the first one down on a stem, and I like the stem, but then as I'm working through layering up these other ones, I actually wind up covering the stem and probably didn't even need to use it at all. So you'll see that I do that. I think when I first laid it down, I had a little bit of the stem showing, and then in my foggy head cold, I guess I just covered the whole thing up, and then you don't even see the stem. So if you want your stem to show, you'll want to be a little bit more aware of what you're doing. So, but I think it turns out okay. I'm just tucking that in, and then I'm going to bring my leaves in. And I just die cut my leaves out of some fern Spellbinders cardstock, and I didn't even add any variation of color to them at all. I just went straight with the fern color, and I'm just going to add them in different areas within my flowers, trying to decide. Sometimes I struggle with where do I want to put the leaves, and it seems silly because, I mean, you can just about put them anywhere, but I'm always like, do I want them here or here? Anyway, but I've got them laid down, and I'm going to just bring in that pumpkin and distress it too, because I'm like, that stark white just doesn't match with the rest of it. So I'm just using what's on my vintage photo, what's on my little dauber there, and just distressing my little pumpkin up as well. And I'm just going to pop him up and lay him beside my basket. I just think that looks like maybe something you would see at one of your orchards. Just a little basket with a little pumpkin set next to it and some sunflowers. I just thought that was kind of a cute little scene. And I'm just using some foam tape to pop this up. And that foam tape I just got at the dollar store. A lot of times when I'm in there, I'll just pick that up and use it. It's very, very sticky. It seems to work pretty well. There I'm noticing, oh, I didn't distress that basket. I need to add a little distress to that so it doesn't look stark against the rest of it. And then I'm going to bring in my cinnamon and popped out that little piece, and then I'm distressing it up too. And I'm just going to get it laid down on my card. I'm trying to really use the things that I have and make sure I'm getting good use out of them. I mean, because you pay for these things, and you know, you might use them once and then put them aside, and I'm trying not to do that. I'm trying to really use my things. I'm trying to get ideas from maybe some new releases, and then go to my stash and say, what do I have that I could do like this? And so I'm really trying to do that, and just, you know, sometimes get to know the pieces of your stash that maybe you didn't use, a sentiment that you didn't use and you forgot you had or whatever. So I've been kind of thumbing through my stuff and just looking, and it's surprising what I find. And here's my finished card. I hope you like it. If you do, consider giving me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, I welcome you to my channel and ask that you'd subscribe. Thanks and have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.